Okay, we're live. Uh, it's been a hell of a week. All the weird things going on in the world, and I come down with a cold this week, so I may not stay on air long. Uh, I'm still kind of recovering for it. It got bad Thursday and Friday, but not feeling too keen. But the weather did change, and I was able to go out and fire some uh, different guns and check them out. That Caltech 5.7 pistol, I ran through it again. It's another questionable gun. It's getting a lot of hype, and it's getting really pushed hard uh, with some of these videos. But, the whole concept, what they did is they made 5.7. And if you really are into that cartridge, this little itty bitty cartridge here. If you're really into this, all that bizarre stuff done on that pistol was to make a handgun that fires that cartridge that is small, compact, and can somewhat probably be carried concealed. Okay, that's the whole thing. The stripper clips, the not having a magazine, the rotating barrel action, all of that is done to make the unit slim and compact. All of those features is what is going on there. That's basically it in a nutshell. I am not that much of a fan of that cartridge to where I need it. And a lot of these videos I've been watching, these people consistently have the gun jam. And it jams where it's not quite extracting the cartridge all the way out. And that is because of the cartridge itself. That gun should be kept super clean and all that other stuff. But it's for someone who doesn't do maintenance, and a lot of people don't, it's going to be problematic. Any one of those handguns in that caliber. There's kind of like no such thing. The smaller the nine, the more recoil you get. Okay. That's like a loaded question. All right. The only thing is rotating barrels is supposedly dampens the recoil, or some real high dollar things where they put the barrel lower in the frame and all this other stuff. But just a standard gun like under a grand, no. There's no, the sentence, okay, 9 millimeter carry and reduced recoil. There isn't. Yeah. Get a 380. No, but we fired that. I finally fired the AR prototype, and again, I'm gonna have to do a discussion on that. That was unfired. Nobody, whoever bought it, never fired it, and then it was sold, and I picked it up. Okay, because they haven't been made in like 6 years or something. And again, I had to just about take that rear sight almost all the way over in the carry handle to get it on target. And and so that's why I think they got dropped. The original ones, they kind of weren't doing a good job on them. A lot of them got sent back, and you know, I don't know. That's probably why it was there. Yeah. Well, that's another another thing. The war in Ukraine's another farce. It's kind of like when they went up into course the Kursk region, advanced 30 kilometers and then stopped. This is not a war. And basically, my wife's cousin said all they're doing is destroying this region and killing the civilian population that is there. Okay. So what you're going to have is this bombed out area where everyone's either dead or have been relocated. See, the Russian side of it, all the people in Kursk that weren't killed, okay, I'm talking civilians, I'm talking about soldiers. They totally trashed all those towns. And what the Russian government was doing was taking survivors and giving them places to live in another area. A lot of these people didn't want to leave, and they ended up getting killed by somebody, stray errant rounds, or the Ukrainian forces just shot them and killed them. Okay. So, what's going on? Nobody's even mentioning it. I guess they're still fighting. You don't see anything, you don't hear anything. My wife sent a message. Everybody's all right, just this week, as a matter of fact. And she just sent a text message saying we're fine, and things are just going as they usually go. They don't like talking about it on the telephone or communicating on the internet because they believe there's still a secret police listening into what their average communications are, and you really don't get anything out of them because they're afraid they'll be arrested or something. Okay, I don't know if it's just leftover Soviet shit or if it still goes on there, but it's not a nice place to be no matter what. As for, notice that nobody's talking about it. All right, if they're still killing each other there, yeah, probably. And that's what they said. They're just trying to get rid of people in a certain disputed region by war attrition, destroying their homes, destroying their infrastructure. So they're forced to move away. The ones that live, uh, the ones that are stubborn, they gradually, you know, get killed. So it's a fucked up situation there. I mean, and where's the solution or when's it going to end? Who the hell knows? I mean, this is ridiculous. Now we're tearing up the whole Middle East. Nobody mentions uh, the Ukraine, okay? And I guess they got a war in Afghanistan with Pakistan and that. So this is all coming undone. And thanks for asking. I mean, if somebody else did ask me how my wife's family was. My relatives don't, but some other people that know us did. Uh, but what's going on there, and there's not a thing that we can do one way or the other, you know, unless they decide to leave, which part of the family isn't going to do that. So, you know, I guess life goes on. Excuse me. But yeah, that's not good. What's going on with everything, and it's escalating all over. I have no idea what's going on in the Middle East. All I know is stock market's gone berserk. Metals are shooting up, and then they're getting beaten back down again. You're having $10 to $20 shifts in silver, okay, over the week, which is way, way too volatile. Gold went up to 5,500. Now it's back down to 5,100. The stock market shot all the way up one day, and then come back the hell down the next day or something. I don't even watch it anymore. I don't have any stocks. But it's not good. this stuff with Trump. Oh well, unconditional surrender. Yeah, my ass. Who? You ended up killing half the government. Who's left to surrender? Okay, and then you don't know what if you watch any news or anything on the internet. You go from one extreme to the other, and everything in between on what's really going on. So you have no idea. All right, what's real, what's fake. You know, speaking of the Ukrainian war, they had some kind of news thing that the Ukrainians destroyed these Russian ships uh, in the Black Sea. And actually, the little clippets of these ships being blown up, one of them was my ship that was sunk in 2016 in Sinkex. Because I remember the footage when they hit my ship with it must have been a harpoon missile or something. I remember that. And they show a clip of my ship that was anchored out there used as a target. And they're saying that this is, what's going on in the war. It's not. Okay. And with AI and all the magical things you can do, they can make any type of an image out there that God knows what's real, what's not. And see, this is a form of warfare. They flood the news. You undermine the news. You undermine where people are going for information, and a vast majority of the information is so false. You don't know what's real. This is actually a weapon. Okay, it doesn't fly through the air. It doesn't, um, you know, physically kill you, but it just fills your mind with so much crap or emotionally breaks you down to where you just. I tried keeping up with all of it. I tried keeping up with stuff in Ukraine. What the hell is going on here and this and that, and it's just. Uh, you just don't want to even deal with it or think about it. That's the thing. Okay, and all these bases and that. Okay, that they're talking. We really do not have bases in the Middle East. You have like what's a naval annex. Maybe there's a little, all of them countries. If you have your storage buildings, yes, radar assemblies and that, probably in some kind of little compound, but it is not a naval base. We're allowed to be there in an area, and they give us a little sectioned area. And actually, it's probably guarded by the military of that country. Okay, and their supply areas is what the hell they are, and they have listening devices and equipment there. Um, so to say that all our bases are being all torn uh, apart or blown up, yeah, these storage facilities and this, but it's not so much naval base because I forget Bahrain. I was going to go on. Wasn't a LaSalle. I think it was the Coronado. I had orders for. It's an amphib ship, which is the command and control center, the flagship of the permanently stationed there. And the way that works, um, you can only be anchored to the pier in Bahrain for 14 weeks out of the year. Okay, the rest of the time, that ship's supposed to be in international waters or not the coastal waters. So it's a weird setup. It's not an actual base like San Diego or Norfolk or something like that. So, morning, Joe. Yeah, and who knows? That's what I was trying to explain. You don't know. It's like he's asking me about the Ukraine, and like I said, the people that live there are terrified to tell us anything on the phone or over through emails or whatever because they do have a national police that monitors that, and you know, if you're saying things or saying the wrong things, it could affect you. So, you know, who knows? They just said everyone's fine, everyone's still alive, nobody's hurt. You know, they're, you know, like my wife asked them, "Do you have electricity? Do you have food? Do you have all this?" And they said, "Yeah, nothing's been interrupted or nothing." Hello from Finland. But yeah, getting back to what we're doing, I did get out and test fired at 5.7, and I got some thoughts on that. You know, it's not a bad gun if you like 5.7s and want something you can actually carry around. Um, a lot of the malfunctions I see with the cases not coming out, I believe that has to do. See, these cases like these Fioshis, you can feel it's slick because the case wall is so straight, and that comes from that weird 50 round magazine that rotates them and drops them down. The way this cartridge is, it's really tricky, and it has to have a lacquer on it or a lubrication of some sort, and that's why reloading this thing is almost impossible, because if you deprime this, size it, deprime it, and run it in a stainless steel pin tumbler, uh, you know, you're not going to be able to reload it, and the ammunition without the lacquer, the ammunition will not function in the weapon, and that's to me is a big drawback. Um, I mean, I got 80 rounds through the damn pistol without a friggin' problem. Okay, it worked fine. I mean, I cleaned the chamber with a bronze brush, made sure everything was cleaned out of there. Hop number 9 is all I used. Wiped it out, and it worked fine. Okay, other than I think that's where that cartridge come from is when I was firing it, I had to go back in the videos. I fired it and a live round like flicked forward. It must have popped out of the magazine or something and fell in front of the bench. I didn't even notice it. I think I did notice something. I thought the shell, I said, why the hell is that shell ejecting forward? So that was pretty odd. Okay. Like I said, I did some more work with the ARs, and now I'm going to try to do a reloading thing. So, you know, getting a membership would be good right now. I'm going to cover reloading for ARs with the 5.56 because I don't know how much brass I got. There's going to be a video. I'll put it up later today, and it's showing me out because I was out in the garage yesterday wrapping up some 380 ammo. And I'm going to go on a project, get that reloaded and done. And I got the boxes of the fired brass that I've been accumulating since I've been testing all these guns. There's a ton of it. So, got a lot coming up. Hopefully, I'm feeling better. I'll probably stay home again today. I've been home for the past 2, 3 days, not doing much. But the weather's nicer, not freezing to death. And but I ended up catching some sort of cold along the way here last week. All right, 40 cents. That's what we were looking at. Uh, Gasoline did not change from last Sunday till about the middle of the week. It was 2.59. Now it's 3. It went up more because that was 2.60. Now it's 3.30 something when I went past the same gas station. So it's much more. It almost went up $1 in my area. Uh, so yeah, it's or more than that, more than just 40 cents. Yeah, it ain't bad. I mean, like I said, it was 260. Now it's 330 something, 334 or something. So that's a big jump. Uh, yeah, that's another thing. You're going to see that. It's kind of like the one bar that I go to, not the American Legion, but the other one down the block. He's got to where he's hiring bands to come in Friday, Saturday, Sunday night. He did that for a while years ago to bring in crowds, and in the evening. They usually start at 7 o'clock or something, play till 11 or midnight. But and they're advertising on Facebook. You're getting a notice from them of what's going on, what the specials are, and everything else. And because that's the only place that I'm tied into. I guess every single one of them does it. All the different restaurants and bars. Once you're a patron of their Facebook page, they continuously feed you with specials, meals, or whatever. But it don't look good. I think people just don't have money. Uh, the guns and stuff, you're seeing them. They're telling you, "Oh, quick, buy a SG ammo." Okay, quick before the price increase, and they keep saying it, and every other week, hey, buy this, and then next thing you know, 3 days later, they're sending me an email with a flash sale. They're knocking 20, $30 off a case of ammo or something. Um, price is kind of high to begin with. But yeah, so things are not good, and oil's just like anything. They raise the electric rates here where I live, and like it used to be this time of year. Uh, see, my electric bill, air conditioning, we run air conditioning all through the summer, so that's when electric bill goes up. But usually it was like $80 a month. Now it's 110. Okay, and really we're not using any more electricity than normal. Uh, and I don't know what's going to happen because in the summer it will go 180 depending on how hot it is. And it's 120 degrees for a month. You're getting a $200 electricity bill. But that, and they've revalued all the property in this one county. They all went berserk. Some people, their property has doubled in value, so now they're going to adjust their taxes to this. And there's a big ongoing political thing. You use an app. Yeah, I mean it's terrible. That's why. And if you try to mail your bills like I do, like old-fashioned people, using a checkbook, okay, they hate that. Actually, the companies, what they do is they don't send you the mail-in bill until like 4 days before it's due, so it's always late. Okay, in other words, you can't mail it there fast enough. Okay, they force you not, but see, I make them send me the paper bill, and I do pay them online because when I got 3 days for it to get there, it ain't gonna get there. But I still make them send me the goddamn thing in the mail. You know. Yeah, that's true. A lot of it taxes and fees. It's a good part of it. A good part of a lot of the bills that you're paying. Yes, with everything going on, I don't see it prices going down. I mean, I believe the country itself is falling the hell apart. Okay, and there's no turning back. The way it's gotten, it's not good. and all these things at once. This Epstein files, like I said, if even 2% of everything is true that's insinuated in there, you're talking implicating every single influential, important person in the government, global finance, and business. Okay. The government's corrupt, and the corruption is so evident, and they're finding it out. In some areas it's worse than others. Okay. Uh, but it's kind of corrupt here. They had some people for the primaries, people were going door to door and asking any of these questions. And come to find out, this one prominent state senator, they found out he was behind that he was sending people, ask them who they voted for in certain areas. Because I believe he lost the primary. All right. And that somehow it's not legal. He shouldn't be doing it, number one. So now he's in the public light. He's a state senator. He's not he's in the state government, not the federal government. So yeah, it's who the hell knows. But what are you going to do? There ain't nothing, really, there's nothing you can do. If the government is corrupt, you can go vote, which I did. I voted in the primaries. You can go vote all you want. That ain't going to stop it, because the system is built on corruption. As simple as that. And there's actually no way to stop it. Any shopping apps on my phone? I don't have any either. I don't do that. Most of my searches, I don't like using the phone either. Okay, because my hands, I can't type the button, scroll, all that crap. I still sit here for hours in front of this desktop and do it. But still, if you go to the wrong place, answer the wrong question, or click on something, then your email, your phone, everything is just all day long. The gas station where I get my. Probably because, first of all, that's special gasoline, and I don't know. I don't run that stuff. That's a good question. Yes, if voting worked, it'd be illegal. Okay, no apps, good. That's true. Uh, this government probably has been corrupt since it was founded. It's just that 200 some years ago, it was so wide open, or so much, or so few, or so little control of the government that it wasn't as noticeable. Now that's not the way it is, and the stakes are higher, and the amounts are bigger. I hate touch screens. Okay, yeah, that's true, because what went on, this whole thing with ICE. All ICE is doing is going after people that were convicted and supposed to be deported. That's it. Okay. People are saying they're just grabbing them. No, they're not. They got warrants. Okay. They have warrants, and they're looking for specific people. Yeah, one of them was a bag boy in a grocery store, was 21 years old. What they're doing is they're disassembling the narcotics system. Okay. And you're wondering, why would they come at? Well, he was probably a mule or transported something, and they caught him. They got him on tape or whatever the hell, and he got convicted. And then, they screw around, let him go, and he goes back to bagging groceries, but he's supposed to have been deported. See, this whole charade, and then these people attacking federal uh, law enforcement, doing their job, getting people with warrants. Okay, this is not oh, let's go down there. I don't like the looks of this one, so let's grab him. That's not what's going on. So you're being lied to. Okay. But what it exposed is the corruption is so deep and so deeply connected with the international drug trade. Okay. That the judges, the governors, the district attorneys, all this, they're all tied in. They ain't none of them clean. So even if you could make them accountable, you're talking about taking out the whole damn government, all of it. And what do you replace it with? I mean, how do you do that? How do you prosecute the governor, lieutenant governor, the state district attorney, the judges all involved in this, and then these mayors of these cities, and then you filter down to all the other ones in there. You're talking arresting the whole functioning government. Ain't good. IT all my life. Yes, that's very true too. That's another thing that you're getting. Everything is with tech, and they're forcing this upon people. And I know people that resist it, are older than me that resist this stuff. And they tell you you're having a virtual uh, checkup with your doctor. And the guy goes, I have this flip phone because he's still paying $35, $40 a month. He's got a cell phone, but that's all he does on it. Okay, I know two people that still have them. And he goes, I don't have a smartphone. I can't video conference with my doctor. Would you please schedule an appointment? And this is your appointment, text if you're ready. And he goes, and the guy says, I'm imploring with him. I can't do it. I have to physically come to the doctor's office. Okay. I don't have the technology or a way to communicate. And he just kept saying, and he just doesn't get his medical care. Okay. Because I forget what the hell it is. I got the basic thing for two phones, me and my wife. And, it's like $180 a month or something like that. Okay. Which is your phone bill. But, this person doesn't have the money to afford that. Okay. So age and poverty is, I've seen it actually in the fact that people didn't have good insurance or health care. I actually believe it shortened their lives up or ended it in a bad way. Okay. A lot of these people don't go to the doctor. And then when they finally do, because they're in such screwed up pain, can't breathe or whatever, usually they find out that they have some sort of condition that they've neglected, and some people say, hey, it's their fault. Didn't take care of themselves. Well, yeah. Depends how you look at it, how you want to call it. But I've known two or three people, they go into urgent care or something, and within a month that's it. Okay. But yeah, if you're just, to one individual, he never told me about some of the problems he's having, but the problems he was having were pretty friggin' severe. Okay. And he should have went and done something about it, but it's strange. Well, that's another thing. It's pretty amazing how a foreign country has the type of power to influence our government. And that is something that I remember that going back, way back, 40 years ago. Excuse me. And it's true. They had several people on these videos saying he wanted to do this, he wanted to do that. And one of the guys tells, what's his name there? Yahoo hey, go for it. You know, you're a sovereign country. Oh no, no, we're not doing that. We need the United States to go in there and start this, and then we'll be there to back it up. Well, the problem with that, Peter, is we're not a socialist country. Okay. I've been to Europe. I thought about emigrating to Europe. But unless I'm connected to somebody high up or have an extremely high paying job, Europe is not a friggin' fun place to be. Okay. Because over there, when gasoline was $2 a gallon, okay, even in Eastern Europe, a gallon of gas was $8 or $10. Okay, granted, they got overgrown golf cart type cars on the roads there that aren't legal here, but no, you know, if you want the health care, Canada, France, you know, and my wife's relatives that do live in the United Kingdom are not really happy with the healthcare system there. Oh, and Israel. Israel has free healthcare. Depends how you look at it. I had open heart surgery 2 hours after uh, I had a catheter go up and look at my heart. Okay, I was lucky they had an open spot. To have heart surgery in a lot of these countries, you go on a waiting list. Granted, it doesn't cost what it costs here, but there is a possibility you might not live until your spot is in there. Okay, so I don't agree with you on the healthcare system. And like I said, I could have emigrated to Europe. One of the reasons I did is I don't like living under socialism. Okay, even if it sucks here, even if the healthcare system is corrupt, crooked, and wrong, okay, which it is, and I believe it is here, I ain't leaving this country or saying that it's better living anywhere else, okay, because it's not. Good morning, Megabait. So, a bunch of you guys have told me all about this wondrous Shooter's Choice powder. Well, I intend to get a couple different types of it and work on some 5.56 or 223 loads for the AR-15s. Truthfully, looking at powder out here, I have a whole list here. Some I have, and some I'm going to have to get. Shooter's Choice. There's a couple from Hodgdon that are pretty good, and Alliant has two, AR Comp and Power Pro Varmint. And when I was looking at what they're saying, it depends on the weight of the bullet, because you can go anywhere from 55 grain to 77 grain and several choices in between. There are some good results, okay, with 55 grain bullets. Okay, but everybody seems to be leaning to like 68, 77, the long range shooting of the bullets. And so I'm going to do some experimenting. I'm going to cover each powder and two different things, or what works good. And so it's going to be my new project. Also, at Ugos 98 sold for $900. Ow, ow, that hurt. 900. All right, now I know what to put on mine the next garage sale. So we're going to work on the ARs, and I got a couple black powder guns. I got that revolver with the brass frame, the Remington new model in 36, and I got that 54 Hawken that I've been dying to shoot. So I'm going to try to get out and get those shooting a couple weeks. I'm contemplating my reloading stuff now. I was out in the garage yesterday. I may, if I feel up to it, work on it a little tomorrow. Less than 5.7. Yeah, the Smith and Wesson firearm is nice. I think they're either gas operated or something. A little bit more complex pistol, a little bit more expensive. But again, how does it feel? Because you still have the 5.7 and the grip. All right, for me, what kills it is not the functioning of the pistol or all the features. I mean, I know the Smith and Wesson is a real nice gun. It's just I ain't tying up all that money for something I can't get my hand around the damn grip. Okay, that's the downfall of this. You have to come back and tell us if you shoot it, or say you already shot the PSA one. Okay, did that thing jam a lot, or were there troubles with it, or whatever? I haven't really heard much of them. And you know, the influencers, even when the thing does screw up, they're not going to point it out. But and obviously, you must like the 5.7 cartridge. I'm kind of having my issues with it. A lot of the reliability problems I believe people have is, like I said, they don't clean the guns, and the way that cartridge is, having to be lubricated, and the design with the no taper in the body, it could be problematic. Yeah, you know, it's a modern gun. All right, smokeless powder's a hell of a lot more. If you want to load black powder, okay, like 44 mag, I don't know what the hell you'd go with 44 mag. You'd have to look for like a, or basically black powder. All you got to do is top it off to where the bullet, and then compress it a little, and that's what the hell will go in there. Yeah, it's going to be messy. But see, the thing everyone friggin' forgets about black powder is modern black powder is not like the black powder made 100 and some years ago. Okay. This stuff is gritty, and especially the cheaper ones, like the ones Graf sells, that stuff leaves residue in there that in one cylinder load, you would build up enough residue to where when you fired it, even with the low pressure black powder, these people had blown guns up. Okay. Because they're not taking into consideration that the more you shoot it, the more shit builds up in the barrel. Okay. And some of it is pretty nasty. All right. And that's why I don't like shooting the black powder in the cartridge gun and everybody, oh, blow tube, you know, rinse your mouth out with water and blow the soft, you know, the moisture down to soften the fun. No. Okay. You could do it, but why? You know, it's harder to get black powder than it is to get smokeless powder. A Springfield. Oh, go ahead and try. You know, I really don't recommend. And do you mean actual black powder or Pyrodex? Because if you use Pyrodex, Pyrodex is going to corrode the hell out of all them guns, irregardless how much you clean them or whatever. Okay, if you're using a black powder substitute, you're going to wreck the guns. POSA is the best grip. Jammed once. Yeah, see, that's another thing. This gun I had, this Caltech, and the other one I was using, the TS, whenever I'd switch from one ammo to another, it's like the first round would jam in the chamber. Wouldn't extract. I don't know. That's the only malfunction I had. And then when I first got it, somebody was reviewing one of them Caltech pistols and said after 500 round break-in period, and then he's still getting that where it's not pulling the case all the way up and it gets stuck in the ejection port. Well, what that is those cartridges are not coming out of that chamber. So either he didn't clean it, he didn't clean the protective grease on the chamber out of there, which turns into this gummy weird crap after you shoot it, don't clean it and shoot it again, but see, that's the problem I'm seeing. Now, I use the Fiocchi ammo, which is the least expensive. Okay. I don't know if this is Fiocchi or if this was one of the Federals. I think it's Fiocchi because I can feel the greasiness on there. You know, yeah, mine shot 80 rounds without a hitch other than throwing that live round forward, but it didn't jam, didn't slow down, and it did 80 rounds without a lick. Because the good thing about the cartridge or the guns themselves is they're light. They don't recoil hard, so you have more control. It's just that thing's like a double action trigger, and trying to get used to it, it just would take a lot of rounds of ammo. And I've already spent 2/3 of the cost of the gun just buying, what was it? 180 rounds of ammo, something like that. I don't know, what is there, 15 a box? That's 250 rounds of ammo. I'm sorry. But if you're into the cartridge and you think it's great, I mean, there's a lot of pluses towards it, but I don't know. Personally, to me, with everything I got going on, it's just one other thing I don't need to screw with. Joking. Black powder, because you use a water-based solvent on it, or drop the barrel or something into boiling water. I just boil some water and flush the bore out, and that does it. And hose the thing down with WD-40, make sure it dries and the water runs off, and clean it, oil it, you're good. I've seen that you've seen the video. That guy brought me a whole pile of these guns. He got screwed because he bought them sight unseen. He just looked at them. All them guns look great. Somebody shot one of them with some sort of Pyrodex and never cleaned it. I mean, those are $600 rifles. All of them are ruined. all of them, the bores were, I mean, horrible pitting in that. I tried getting the rust and the debris. One of them had the damn residue in there that I had to chisel out, and there's no way to fix them. And this is common because if you go to one of the major black powder suppliers for $300, they sell you the whole damn barrel assembly. You just take that one, throw it away, stick the other one in, latch it in there, and you're good to go. So if they sell that, that proves that this is a commonplace thing. Okay. And the reason people use the substitutes is you can get it anywhere. Black powder, on the other hand, for me to buy it from a store, I have to drive from the northern part of North Carolina down to Charlotte to a Bass Pro Shop. Yeah, it was a Bass Pro Shop. And then you have to go to the gun counter, ask the guy for it because it's not on the shelf. And he goes in the back and he will bring you the pounds of black powder. Or you just drop $300 and buy a case of the crap from the national wholesaler and, you know, pay the hazmat fee when you're buying 10 or 20 cans at a time. And then it comes out. And also it's cheaper, you know, and you can mix and match brands, uh, size, and that's the way to go if you're into black powder. But, you know, like this guy, well, I just want 1 pound, you know, 1 pound lasts me a lot. Well, and that's where they got you. Yeah, I believe it has something to do with the coating or something. And it just happened to me in both guns. Now, the last time I went out, I went to use one ammo and I fired 80 rounds, and other than that live round flying out forward. And I did review the video, you know, try, and you can see where the gun fired and something goes forward. Uh, that was the strangest thing, you know, and I don't know. Okay, but that's the thing. Bass Pro at Concord Mills. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, their prices are high, but like I said, this was the only place, and we're talking it's almost an hour and a half, 2 hour drive to get down there. Uh, just so you can go to a retail store and buy a can of, you know, GoX or whatever, Swiss. You know, they had them there. And like I said, they weren't, because I went up there and said, do you sell black powder? And he goes, oh, yeah, we do. Tell me what you want. It's locked up in the back and I'll bring it out. I'm like, oh, boy. Uh, I really haven't brought much from the Bass Pro or Cabela's. Uh, their prices are, like you said, it's not good for your checkbook. All right, glad you made it. Did you ever get that rifle together? Uh, yeah, so I got my work cut out for me. I'm going to try to thin out this closet full of reloading stuff. Replacing it's insane, but it's been sitting there, so I might as well start using it up, do something. Yep, still a couple of issues. All right. That's good. Like you were saying, the holes are in the wrong place and all that other fun crap. I mean, those projects are fun, but I'm just at a point where, the biggest thing is getting everything and getting it done. Invest a lot of stuff. Well, you can get a replacement pretty easy, can't you? I know if they were, some people did have to replace them, even on the ones built by the different places. Oh, another shot of coffee. Yep, not really sure what's going on. The gas, with the cost of everything. All I know is that things are not going to be easy coming this year. This year is going to be a strange one. And with I guess the 250th let's see, 250th anniversary. Uh, it's like open door for somebody to do some terrorist crap. Actually, me and my wife were planning a trip to go to Norfolk to check out the sailing ships and visit the base. But now we don't know. It might not. We're going in a group trip also. So this might not be a good thing to do. All right, I have to check it. I was busy myself. You came late. I was sick Friday. I wasn't doing much but recuperating from this cold I ended up with. Two Bass Mills. Yeah, that was cheap stuff. That's why the rifle was popular. Okay, at one time it was 300 some dollars for 1,000 rounds of Lake City Overrun, and all the other stuff. 1,000 rounds of it was well under that, two something, a couple $100, 2.5, and it was good ammo. Back then, you didn't really care. Not the same now. Now you're looking at 4.5, close to 5 for 1,000 rounds of decent stuff. And if you remember, and I'm going to give price breakdowns, I'm going to do this, for the people because it is a popular gun. The AR-15 is tough to load for because you have to get the gas system to work right unless you have an adjustable gas system, which most don't. And I found the reason they make the carbine lengths overgassed is because this little wonderful bullet I reloaded worked pretty well in some guns I had years ago. I got a bolt action rifle I shoot this in also, which is, so I put this in the full size retro gun, and the retro gun chambered them, not a hitch, whatever. It doesn't have the power to drive the bolt and the rifle buffer all the way back. And then you put 3 of them in a mag, and what'll happen, you'll fire the gun, it won't come back all the way, or if it does, it doesn't have the force to feed the cartridge up and get stuck halfway. You clear that, or take the cartridge, stick it in a chamber, fire it, does it again, and the last round will not trip the bolt hold open because the cartridge is underpowered. This is not loaded to the max. This is loaded for accuracy. I had something, must have had a carbine length gas tube. This thing worked flawlessly in a little AR carbine. So that's the thing about it. That's why reloading for is kind of touchy. I've only used certain ammo or certain powders that worked well. I've experimented with it, but I guess now for content, I'm going to go get, what do I have? I have three or four types of powder here. And I'm looking to get maybe 6 more. So 6. I might get 9 different powders and try to experiment with them and see. And another thing is I have mixed brass, which that could be problematic. Probably have to go and sort the brass into little categories to help kind of cut down on any type of batch. Well, I haven't been there in, like I said, maybe 10 years. Okay. A long time ago. That's about the last time I went down there. No, that's true. Use I should make a video on it. I might make a video on reloading for that. Okay, and I do use a 200 grain bullet. Yeah, I use, okay. I'll do one. I have to load for that too. I haven't had any of that loaded in a while. A pain in the ass is getting a crimp on that. I forget how that's supposed to be done. Well, I might not do it immediately because I'm already working on 2 different things now, but eventually I may get to it. I started doing it when the Gun Geek asked me last year, and the bullets are still sitting on a loading bench. But I could load a box up. I have to wait and see. I have to go find all the info too. But I'll put that on the list of things to work on. Let's see. Check my analytics. All righty. Things are going good there. That's all under control. Yeah. So that's about where we're going. I've kind of curtailed. I had some things going on that I had to deal with. And that's what we got planned to start working on. Yeah, the powder's too slow burning. That's the issue. And they really didn't have 200 grain bullets back when a lot of reloading manuals were made. You have to dig a little deep, do more research. But yep, that's what we got going on. I've just about, I got one more I'm actually working on 2 or 3 different retro projects, but that's been kind of put to a halt on there. I've expended a ton of ammo testing all these M16, AR-15 guns. And that's why I'd like to find a decent load and load 500 rounds, and also try to work on the problem of why these cartridges fit in the cartridge gauge but don't fit in the gun. Okay, so it could be one of two things: not enough force to load it, and it gets halfway and binds. Not broken in. If the gun wears in after say 500-600 rounds, maybe it'd be easier. Or like I explained with those short carbine systems being overgassed, the guns may be made that way. So if you use ammunition that is lower powered, it will guarantee that the gun functions, and people won't be complaining and sending the guns back to you when they buy their budget ARs and budget ammo and it don't work, and they say, hey, it don't work, why don't it work, and that type of thing. Because they might tell you, we put Lake City ammo in it and it works fine. Yeah, you don't have any bullseye? You didn't try bullseye or nothing in that? I mean, because uniques, I use in 44 Magnum and 38. You can use either or in the 38 Special, but I've always used either unique or bullseye. Now I basically use bullseye for just about everything. Okay, 380, 38 Special, probably 32, 9mm Mac, all my, even the 9mm. Okay, I use bullseye. It's been around for a while. It's a good pump, and I use it in a 45 ACP. But that's one to try. Well, all right, folks. My throat's getting sore. Like I said, forgot all about time shift, and I haven't been feeling good the past few days after I caught this cold. So we're going to wrap it up. Thanks for coming, and I will see you all next week. All right. Goodbye.